안녕하세요. 껨덕-mino입니다. 이번에 이어서 시작하겠습니다.
So here's a story Shen probably didn't mention from her various excursions off the ship. The time she was captured by Advent. Yeah, that's right. Captured by Advent. This wasn't that long ago either. Just a few years back. The aliens knew the Avenger was out here somewhere, and they started getting real desperate to find it. They even assembled a special extraction team, almost like they were trying to mirror our tactics. The Advent squad was grabbing senior resistance targets for interrogation, and Shen had the misfortune of being one of the first. Or, so we thought. Advent's Black Bag squad had taken Shen to a compound out in the middle of nowhere. I took charge of the rescue myself. If anything had happened to her, well, you can imagine. In hindsight, I was definitely worried. We really had no idea what they were planning to do with her. I should be clear on this. Rescuing Shen was personal. She was our friend and part of the team. But from a strategic standpoint, rescuing Shen was a make-or-break operation for the future of the Resistance. Without her, the Avenger would never fly again, and we wouldn't have half the tech we have today. I can make it. Hit the plate! We're busted! No one will mourn them. Getting shot to hell over here! Getting shot up! Getting a little too close here! Between the growing number of resistance cells popping up around the world and our local operations to rebuild the Avenger, the Elders must have been getting nervous. The new Advent team was decent in combat, but as we learned, that wasn't their primary focus, and they had been plenty busy. No one will shut us here! You have my trust. I'm already gone. Your history. Moving out. Another notch. Security wasn't overly tight at the compound. Advent's new team was obviously hoping stealth and smaller numbers would keep their operations under wraps. We were just fortunate the few contacts we had made at that point managed to help us find Shen. We have ammunition available. On the move. That's on me. Guide my hand. Leave no remnants. They are fleeing. We were all relieved to find Shen alive and ticking, and surprisingly enough, not much worse for wear. I'll tell you what, the aliens sure could have learned a thing or two about interrogation techniques from our old friend, Dr. Valen. Good luck finding her, though. As you order, Commander. I'll go quickly. Let's do this! Fire's getting close here! The Advent compound was a clandestine holding facility, and it was definitely built to house a lot more people than Shen alone. They had obviously been at this for a while now. We found evidence of other prisoners, but no one left alive besides our girl. I can try it. Alien technology. I have the VIP in tow.
I was wondering when you'd show up. Get me the hell out of here, Central.
We are known to them. Shen was held under some kind of psionic stasis for most of her time at the compound. But she was awake long enough to see a few of the other prisoners. She could tell by the condition they were in that they came from the slums outside of one of the city centers. If they were resistance cell leaders, we needed to find out. Rolling out! Yes, Commander. My power mocks you! They were trying to shake my confidence! Strike for my people!
Save yourself! Agreed.
I go where you tell me. No compromising! I am out of rounds! I've killed just about everything that walks or crawled. I must reload. I will reposition.
The power guides me.
I could use the exercise.
Returning to base.
I'm watching. We had freed Shen, but we still had to get clear of the Advent facility. I am on the move. Headed there now. I'm out of here. I'm leaving. Shen didn't take the news of our casualties lightly, but no one was blaming her for what happened. We all knew what we signed up for. If we were gonna chase the Advent extraction team across the continent in hopes of finding their other prisoners, we were going to need some better equipment. Shen was pretty out of it most of her time with Advent, but she swore up and down that she had heard something about the aliens moving people by train. With that in mind, we were able to narrow down the locations where Advent was actively moving trains near the city center slums. We didn't know who we might find down there, but it was up to us to defend anyone willing to stand with the Resistance. Who would have guessed it would end up being one of XCOM's greatest heroes? Shen was right. Advent's extraction team had pulled a train right into the slums outside the city, and were using it as a prison on wheels. Whoever they were holding was obviously pretty important, so we figured it was probably best to get them on our side.
I can do that.
We had been establishing contact with resistance cells wherever we could, but there were still plenty of groups out there operating on their own agendas. As we discovered that day, the local contingent called themselves Children of the Earth, and it was their esteemed leader, Jane Kelly, that Advent had set their sights on.
As you order. I'm on it. I'll keep a watchful eye.
Keeping an eye out.
At the time, I had never heard of Jane or her crew, but local rumors had talked them up to be the nastiest bunch of alien-killing maniacs west of the Mississippi. If what they said was true, I was more than happy to risk a rescue if it meant recruiting a few more heavy operators for us.
Activate haywire. Shouldn't be a problem.
We're busted! I've killed just about everything that walks or crawled.
I can do that. They're coming around the side! The invaders move against me!
Despite running an active and eager resistance cell, Jane was known for her surprisingly quiet, calculating demeanor. While most of the resistance groups were guided by the charisma of their leaders, these Earthers followed Jane because of her skills, not her words.
Where are your saviors now? For the course.
Moving. Nailed them.
Heading out. I can cover it. Now we fight in the open. Eat it! can't keep this up! Once we set her loose, Jane was eager to jump back into the fight. I almost felt guilty about depriving her team of a leader. But if XCOM was going to spearhead the resistance, we needed the best people we could find leading the way. The only fate possible for aliens. I have almost no ammo.
Walker strike of power! The overhead for now. To victory.
Whatever you say, Commander.
Missed the target. Some damage here. It's still up.
That one's for Dad.
Your history. Advent was risking a lot trying to bring our people in alive for interrogation. That's how I knew they were starting to worry about what we might do with the Avenger. Just think where we might be today if they'd gone ahead and executed everyone.
The VIP is moving with us towards the evac.
We managed to free Jane just in time for her to jump into the fight.
Going hard! I trust in your command.
It's easy to see it now, but I never would have guessed just how valuable Jane would eventually be to our future operations. Aside from the commander, she's way more famous than the rest of us. Hell, even the Chosen have heard of her these days.
I'm out.
Jane was safe and secure, the latest XCOM recruit, ready to serve.
I will reposition.
Let's go.
I'm leaving.
Coming up.
When all was said and done, Jane made sure every soldier on that squad knew how much she appreciated their efforts to save someone they had never even met. We were always on the lookout for fresh gear, especially with the growing number of recruits we had coming in. Within a few weeks of scooping up Jane from the slums, we got word from one of her scouts that the aliens were moving something across the territories. Something big. A concealed position. We couldn't always count on these reports to be accurate, but from the description it sure sounded like a weapon to me. If it was really as big as Jane's guy claimed, it didn't matter where they were hauling it off to. We couldn't risk it. If we were going to lead the resistance, then we had to start acting like it. That meant taking the fight to them. Once we hit the ground, it was obvious we had made the right choice in coming after this thing. It was some kind of artillery piece, bigger than anything we had ever seen in Advent's arsenal. The aliens weren't expecting an attack, but the area was still crawling with Advent regulars providing security. I considered the possibility that we might be walking into an elaborate trap, but Advent had provided a prime target whether it was a setup or not. Letting it go wasn't an option at this point.
Understood. Moving out.
Holding. I will
Time
reposition.
for hiding is over.
A patrol is upwind. I am at your service. A good decision.
In cover.
If we had had time to plan out something a little more subtle, Shen probably could have rigged the cannon's power source to overload once they eventually tried to use it. In this case, we always had our faithful X4 to fall back on.
Placing explosive.
We've been spotted.
The shadows fail us.
Hostile terminated. Busted.
Feel the power of the Templars.
I'm on it.
Nothing we can do here. Nice look at this, right? With Jane on board, I probably could have handed off command of the squad to her. But back then, I'll admit I was eager for action. The Aryans had taken so much from us. There was something satisfying about returning the favor to them directly. Top of my rage!
Heading out. Hostile target down.
Strikes true.
had to figure this cannon of theirs was meant to be pointed at us. I mean, there just wasn't anyone else out there worth hitting with a gun that big. The Avenger was the biggest threat on Advent's radar, and they had built a weapon worthy of shooting us out of the sky.
On the move. Weapons burning ammo fast! Almost out of ammo.
Straight for my people!
The power source they're using to charge that gun is different than anything I've ever seen. We could be looking at the very latest and greatest in Advent tech. It's almost a shame to blow it up.
Let the hunt begin. I will go. Watching comes naturally. If the Avenger had been flight-worthy at the time, I might have suggested we try to steal Advent's new toy rather than destroy it. Would have made for a hell of a deck gun. Still, it's hard to describe how pretty it was when we finally lit that thing up.
On your order. My weapon's spent.
Running low on ammo!
As you order, Commander. I am trusting you.
No place for you to go now.
Little did we know that we would end up seeing another version of their cannon again in the future. And they almost got us with it too. But that's another story altogether.
Reloaded. Moving to position.
Let's do this!
My life is in your hands.
Can never escape my sight.
I'll keep an eye on it.
I'm on Overwatch.
There's nowhere to hide.
Eat it! Heading out. Got it covered.
Need a resupply here. Hit the plate.
Shot failed to connect.
Didn't get through the armor. You must keep me resupplied in the open.
Target neutralized.
We had cleared the area. All we had to do now was plant the bomb.
Ready for action.
We planted the bomb on Advent's cannon. Now we just needed to get clear before the fireworks.
On my way. Come on, Rover. Time to go home. Affirmative.
Running!
This day is done.
Getting out of here.
Getting out of here. Boom. It was quite a show. I really can't describe it. It was a hard fight. Maybe harder than we were hoping for. But at the end of the day, Advent had one less toy to play around with. That explosion took out most of what Advent brought with them. But Shen still managed to salvage a few components to improve our gear. It wasn't until later we found out who it was Advent had captured trying to blow up their cannon. Peter Osei and his wrecking crew were one of the only groups willing to venture into the city centers, and he made quite a reputation for himself taking down high-value Advent targets. As you might imagine, that also put him on a short list of resistance targets that the aliens were falling all over themselves to capture or kill. In Osei's case, he was finally rounded up during the convoy raid, and now he found himself imprisoned in the heart of the city. Even people not willing to associate with the Resistance had heard of Ose in those days, especially in the cities. It would have been a huge blow to morale if we had let Advent execute him. Not that that was our only motivation.
My life is in your hands.
A good decision.
Ten four.
The time for hiding is over.
The invaders send a patrol.
Ose was a man after my own heart. A gung-ho leader who was willing to put his own ass on the line to stop Advent, when and wherever he could. He may not have been a strategic mastermind, but he certainly had a knack for finding interesting targets to drive the aliens crazy.
I'll go quickly.
Affirmative.
Come get some. With his failed sabotage attempt on the Advent cannon, Ose and most of his team wound up in the nearest city center jail. Unfortunately for the others, by the time we got in there, he was the only one they were still keeping alive.
We've been spotted!
Feel the power of the Templars! They would try to shake my confidence!
We could use one of those. Taking control. they've seen me. Hostile terminated.
Covering ground. I know their patrol is coming. For the most part, I had our people avoiding the city centers whenever possible. Security was through the roof, with Advent checkpoints and chip scanners on every major thoroughfare. In retrospect, this mission was the closest thing we had to a trial run for our eventual rescue of the commander. I will always find you.
X-ray neutralized.
I will reposition.
Need to find some new cover! Really hurts. I think they got me.
The other problem with moving inside the city centers was the propaganda. Advent had taken to aggressively posting resistance mugshots. Surveillance anything they could find to put our faces up in lights. It was exactly the kind of attention we didn't need.
The juice is loose. Target neutralized.
go where you tell me. My watch begins. It was no secret that Ose loved the attention Advent had been giving him. If I was trying to avoid attention, he was more than happy to be soaking it up. He wasn't all that chipper when we found him in that Advent jail, that's for sure.
Who can give me a resupply?
A good decision.
I was never here. Roger that.
Who wants a piece? Fast as I can.
XCOM needed a guy like Ose. We had more than enough grim faces and serious attitudes as it was. Losing him on Gatecrasher was a tough blow, even with all the good cheer surrounding the commander's return.
I'm spotted.
I'll keep an eye on it.
In short order.
Let's do this.
Moving as
No
ordered.
place for you to go now.
I will go.
Suffer my rage!
Let's see how their encryption holds up. specialty. We're through. On the move. Got it covered.
As you order, Commander.
You cannot run.
Volk says I am to obey.
Jose was all smiles once he laid eyes on us.
Double time.
My watch begins.
Glad I kept up the cardio. On Overwatch.
I am out of ammo.
Maybe a flesh wound? I'm almost out of rounds.
Gonna push my luck. Let's do this!
Fear my mark.
I'll cover it. Re-up and reload.
A focused strike of power.
I need ammo. Target eliminated.
Going hard!
I am on the move.
Heading
My
home!
fight is over.
I can cover it.
Let's go.
No need to ask twice. Time for me to go.
We got Osei out of there as quick as we could, despite his enthusiasm for a fight. We all knew the risks going into the city, and it was as tough as we expected it would be. Still, we got Osei, and that was a win. We had been grabbing Advent gear whenever possible. It gave Shen a shot at reverse engineering their latest tech.
오늘은 여기까지. 감사합니다.